Hey guys, it's Robles here again. Today we're talking about off-the-market inventory. Off-the-market inventory is an amazing way to get your buyers into a property with absolutely no competition. So off-the-market inventory is important to you. Why? Because you'll find properties off the market, right? So you'll find deals for buyers, and then this is perfect for areas with limited inventory. So limited inventory, and so if let's just say you have a buyer, and then your buyer is $500,000 and he's qualified, right? Now you got a buyer, $500,000, great, he's approved, and he's looking in Riverside. And specifically, he's looking at zip code 92503, and he's particularly, interested in Victoria Grove. So now you have somebody that's like, this buyer wants to buy in Riverside in this zip code, and they want to buy in this particular community. But what's going to happen if you go on the MLS? You look for inventory, and guess what? There's no inventory available. So what are you going to say? You know what? I'm sorry, there's no inventory available. Goodbye. Well, guess what? A lot of realtors do that. A lot of realtors say, there's nothing out there. I'm so sorry. But guess what? If you do this, you're going to get this client because you're thinking out the box. Like, there's no box, guys. Think about, if there's no inventory, create it. That's what you need to do. Create the inventory. So you got somebody that's very specific, for what they're looking for. So now what you need to do from here is, I'm going to tell the client this: Mr. Client, I'm sorry, there's nothing on the MLS, but guess what? I'm a real estate agent and I'm committed to finding what you're looking for. So I'm going to go off the market and I'm going to create a campaign where I'm going to help you to find a property with no competition. Imagine now how much they're going to love you, and you're going to sound like a champion, and they're going to want to work with you. So now you know exactly what they're looking for. So I'm going to ask them, find me a property that is actually sold, that is exactly what you're looking for, and show me that property. So the client will tell me. The client will tell me their criteria. So I want something, the client would say, I want something in Victoria Grove, and then I want a 4-bedroom, because that's the property that's sold, right? So 4-bedroom, 3-bath. I want approximately 3,500 square feet. And then I also want a 10,000 square foot lot. I want a pool. And then I think this is pretty laser focused. I mean, you have the community, you have the bedrooms and baths, you have the square footage, the lot size. I was going to say, well, you have pool. But I was also going to say like year built, but this is a gated community, so pretty much all of them are pretty much the same. So not a big difference, it's going to vary. So what I'm going to do is, like, I now have information from my clients, and they're pretty much telling me like, hey, Leo, find me this house and I'll make an offer. So that means that you have a pre-approved buyer right now, that if you were to find this house somewhere in this community, you would literally have the buyer lined up for that seller. How powerful is that? That's super powerful, right? So you're like, whoa, well, how do you get it? What can I do to actually get this property? Where can I get information? You can use the MLS to give you information about past sales that are on this price point that you can actually target. So let me give you guys an example of what I mean. You have you have their criteria. This property today is worth $500,000. That's what the market value. Right? We know that this property is worth $500,000. We know that this property with this bedrooms and baths and square footage is worth $500,000. So what I'm going to do, as an expert here, I'm going to look at properties that sold for 2012 to about 2009, let's just say. And you can even go further. You can go back to 2000. You can even go back to 2000. So, like, let's just say you go to 2000 to 2012. I have a buyer, so I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go on the MLS. I'm going to look for sales that sold between 2000 and 2012 that sold under like 380,000. So, stay with me, guys. So we're finding properties on the MLS that sold for 380 and under. So we get to determine that, right? If I have a buyer for 500,000 and I know somebody bought that property, somebody in the area bought for 380 and under, then that means that that person has enough equity to make a move. Those people are most likely like ready to move. So I'm going to do this search on the MLS, and I even have it like more laser. I'm not just going to look for properties that sold between these years under 380. I have specifics of what I want. So I'm going to put a property between like three to 5 bedroom. I'm going to do a property that's 3 bedrooms plus. I'm also going to do a property that's 3,400 plus. And then I'm also going to do a property that has a 10,000 square foot plus. And then also with the pool. I'm going to get laser focused on properties that are in this criteria, that sold between these years, that sold in this price or under, because now you know that they have equity. So guess what? You do the search and you're going to get like a handful of properties. You're going to get maybe 40, 50, 100 properties at the most. And guess what? Those 100 properties or less are specific matches to equity sellers now. That means that you can go to all of those people, knock on their door and say, hey, how you doing? I'm a local expert and your property came up as a match for one of my buyers. I have a pre-approval right here. This person wants to make an offer. What kind of conversation you think you're going to have? How does that person think of you? This person thinks, like, man, this guy's an expert. He brought me a buyer. The number one fear for a seller is that they're not going to find a buyer. And guess what? You're at their door with a pre-approved buyer. That's exciting. So this is a very easy method that you can use that'll create business. Even if you did have inventory on MLS, why wouldn't you spend some time looking at the criterias and going to knock on their door and giving them a pre-approved buyer's letter? Because the worst case scenario, let's just say that you show your buyer and your buyer doesn't like it, you still have the opportunity to list the house if the person wants to sell. Now you know that the person wants to sell. So it's going to get you more listings, it's going to get you more buyers accepted, it's going to get you more happy clients. And this is thinking way out the box right here. Who does this stuff? Nobody is doing this. And we have as realtors the MLS. Use it, leverage it, get interested. Start, how I became an expert on the MLS, how I learned how to do this is because I spent countless hours on the MLS. And I started to notice the different tools that it has. The MLS has amazing tools that you can use, but you have to use it. The more you use it, the more of an expert you're going to become. But this is an awesome way right here to generate listings and buyers, and guess what? You're making double the commission on it because you have a buyer. So this has been Off the Market Inventory. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it.